Welcome to One Fact About Each Country of the World Part 2. Today we're gonna do 100 countries, so this is definitely gonna be a longer video, but let's just get right into it. Iceland. Iceland is the country that consumes the most Coca-Cola per capita. According to a report by Coca-Cola, Icelanders consumed on average 146 liters per person during 2020. That is insane, Iceland. Ireland. Ireland is the most successful country in Eurovision Song Contest with 7 titles. Halloween was also invented in Ireland, and Ireland has the largest number of red-haired people with 10%. United Kingdom. The longest name of any city in the world is located in Wales and is this.
Just up the road from Llanfair to Pwllgwyngyll go get a Quindrobble, Llantysilio go.
There are more Indian restaurants in London than in Indian urban centers like New Delhi or Mumbai. France. France has the most time zones in the world with 12 different time zones because of its overseas territory. And France is the most visited country in the world with 90 million visitors. Andorra. Speaking of tourism, Andorra is the most visited country per capita in the world with 10 million tourists. Tourism brought 80% of Andorra's GDP. Spain. Spain is the only European country to have a ground border with an African country, which I explained in one of my previous videos. Also, Spain has the highest number of bars per capita with 350,000 bars. Portugal is one of the countries which wakes up the latest. According to some studies, they wake up at 8:23 a.m., which is the lowest in Europe and pretty much in the whole world. Monaco. 1 in 3 people who live in Monaco are millionaires. There are a total of 12,000 millionaires. This is because Monaco has the highest GDP per capita in the world with an estimated $234,000. Italy. It ranks first globally in the number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites with a total of 58 sites, which is insane. Vatican City. This is the smallest country in the world and it uses euro as its currency, even though it's not a part of the European Union. San Marino. This country is the least visited country in Europe, receiving only 78,000 visitors in 2019, and it surely declined because of COVID. Switzerland. Switzerland is the second most expensive country to live in the world after Monaco. The cost of living is up to $2,500, and it is also the second least obese country in Europe, while Moldova is first. Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is one of the few countries that doesn't have an army. The other ones in Europe are Andorra, Iceland, Vatican City, San Marino, and Monaco. Germany. Germany is the country with the most castles, 25,000, and 65% of its highways don't have speed limits. Yeah, that's right. Germany is the only country that doesn't have a speed limit. Luxembourg. Luxembourg ranks first globally for wine consumption per capita. They consume 51 liters per person.
Oh my God!
Belgium. Chocolate is huge in this European country, which can produce 600,000 tons of it per year. Also, French fries were invented in Belgium, not in France, as the name suggests. Netherlands. Netherlands has the tallest people in the world with an average height of male of 183 centimeters and 170 centimeters for women. Also, Amsterdam, its capital, has over 1,200 bridges. Denmark. Lego was invented in Denmark. Denmark also has the oldest flag in the world since 1219. Also, if you didn't know, Denmark owns Greenland, and hence, it's actually a huge country. Norway. Norway is more expensive than you think. Norway is the 5th most expensive country to live in, and the cost of living monthly is $2,000. But Norway's images are gorgeous though. Sweden. This might surprise you, but Sweden has the most islands, with 267,000 islands. Finland. This is the happiest country in the world for 6 years in a row. Also, it is the world's largest coffee consumer per capita with an average annual consumption of 12 kilograms per person. Yo, if you're from Finland, how do you sleep? Estonia. It is the world's most digitally advanced country with 99% of its government services available online. It is also the first country to offer its citizens online voting, which was all the way back in 2005. Latvia. Jeans were created by a Latvian-born tailor, Jacob Davis, in 1871. So we gotta thank Latvians for the jeans, you know? Lithuania. Lithuania is one of the few countries in Europe that has basketball as its favorite sport. Everything is visible in this image. Belarus. It ranks first in the world in tractor production, making approximately 60% of the world's tractors. Ukraine. Ukraine alongside Moldova have the best fertile soil in the world. Also, Ukraine is the largest country entirely within Europe. Poland. Bagels were created in Poland. Polish people marry the youngest in Europe at 28 years old for women and 30.2 for men. Czech Republic. It has the highest beer consumption per capita globally, averaging 188 liters per person annually. Oh my god. Slovenia. Of the 2 million residents of Slovenia, 90,000 are beekeepers. That's 1 out of every 20 people. Slovakia. Bratislava, its capital, is the only capital in the world that borders 2 countries, that being Hungary and Austria. Croatia. Despite it only having a population of 4 million people, this country has reached the World Cup final in 2018 and was 3rd place in the last year's World Cup. They're insane at football. Bosnia and Herzegovina. It is said that 12,000 years ago, there used to be pyramids on the territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and that would make them older than the Egyptian pyramids. Montenegro. Its Tara River Canyon is the deepest point in Europe with a depth of approximately 1,300 meters. Serbia. This country has the world's highest production of raspberries per capita, exporting approximately 95% of its raspberries. Kosovo. Kosovo has the youngest population in Europe. More than 70% of the country's population is under the age of 35. In fact, the median age is just 29 years old. Albania. It has the highest number of bunkers per capita, with approximately 173,000 bunkers, and that's 5.7 bunkers per kilometer square. So if there is a nuke, you just go to Albania. North Macedonia. With 85.5% of its territory being mountainous, North Macedonia is the 7th most mountainous country in the world, and it is actually the most mountainous in Europe, even surpassing Switzerland, which has 83.6%, so it's kinda underrated. Greece. Greece is the country which has the most average work hours of 2,042 hours. Also, Greece is made up of 6,000 islands. Bulgaria. Vanga, the predictor, is from Bulgaria. Bulgarian yogurt is the best in the world, and no doubt Bulgarians love yogurt. It has one of the world's highest yogurt consumption rates, with an annual per capita consumption of 27 kilograms. Romania. The country has the world's heaviest building, the Palace of the Parliament in Bucharest, weighing approximately 4 million tons. Romania also has the 3rd fastest internet speed in the world after Monaco and Singapore. And now, the one I've been waiting for, Moldova. The largest wine cellars in the world are located in Mileștimici, which I yet didn't visit. It made it into the Guinness World Records with almost 2 million bottles stored there. The entire length of the cellars is 250 kilometers. That is half of Moldova. Hungary. Rubik Cube was invented in Hungary. Hungary is very good at the Olympic Games. In fact, they've won more than 465 Olympic medals. Cyprus. On average, Cyprus enjoys around 320 days of sun a year. That is insane considering there are only 365 days in a year. Malta. Malta welcomes an average of 1.6 million tourists annually, about 3 times more than the population of it. Malta also welcomes tons of popular films such as The Gladiator, World War Z, and Games of Thrones. Now we're gonna move on to Africa, and please don't skip the video because Africa is actually a pretty interesting continent. Morocco. There are more active cell phones than people in Morocco. The population is 38.1 million, while it is said that there are 50 million mobile phone subscribers in Morocco. Algeria. It is the largest country by landmass in Africa, nearly 5 times the size of Spain. Algeria is home to the largest desert in the world if you exclude Antarctica, the Sahara Desert. Around 80% of Algeria is just the Sahara Desert. Tunisia. Many Star Wars scenes were filmed in Tunisia. One of the most iconic scenes is the binary sunset scene. Libya. Libya was the only country in the world with a plain flag. Until 2011, its flag used to be just a green. And yeah, I'm not joking, look, Egypt. The calendar that we use today was invented in Egypt. Also, one important invention which was in Egypt was the invention of bread around 8,000 years before Jesus Christ. Mauritania. Approximately 90% of Mauritania is desert, which has caused persistent droughts throughout the country. 30% of population lives in poverty, and sadly that's 1/3 of its population. Mali. Over 67% of its population is below the age of 25. The median age is just 16.1 years old, having the third youngest population in the world. Also, the richest person that has ever existed in the world was from Mali and was called Mansa Musa. Niger. The youngest population in the world, as you can see, is Niger. Here, the median age is just 14.8 years old. Also, it is one of the hottest countries in the world with an average of 28.05 Celsius. Chad. In 2022, Chad was the world's most polluted country in the world with a polluted score of 89.7. To put that into perspective, the least polluted country is Iceland with a score of just 3. Sudan. The country has the most pyramids in the world with more than 220 pyramids. Eritrea. Eritrea has never held a presidential or national election since independence. So its president, Afwerki Isaias, is still a president nowadays. Djibouti. Djibouti has the only permanent US military base in Africa, that being Camp Lemonnier. They chose Djibouti because it is strategically located near the Aden Gulf and the Red Sea and can bring oil and other goods. Ethiopia. Coffee was created in Ethiopia in the 15th century. Today, Ethiopia is the 5th largest producer of coffee. South Sudan. South Sudan is the newest country in the world, being independent since 2011. Even I'm older than this country. Unfortunately, this country is the most dangerous country in Africa, and only 7.2% of its population have access to electricity. Central African Republic. The world's darkest nights are in Chad, the Central African Republic, and Madagascar, which means they're least affected by light pollution. This is because in Central African Republic, only 15.5% of population have access to electricity. Cameroon. Cameroon is home to 2 of the 3 exploding lakes in the world. Also, Cameroon has the largest frog in the world, which is the Goliath frog, that has 34 centimeters and 3.3 kilograms. Damn, that's a big frog. Nigeria. Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa, with a population of 222 million. It is the 6th most populated country in the world. Also, its city, Lagos, is the most contagious city in the world, where people spend an average of 68 minutes in traffic. Benin. Snakes are sacred in Benin. In fact, there is even a temple of pythons sitting in Benin. Togo. The country is the primary exporter of phosphate, accounting for about 12% of global production. Ghana. It has the world's largest artificial lake, Lake Volta, which covers 8,482 square kilometers. Also, as an additional fact, the coffin dance people are from Ghana. Burkina Faso. The capital city, Ouagadougou, is a French adaptation of the native word Ougodougou, which means where people get honor and respect. Ivory Coast. It is the world's largest producer and exporter of cocoa beans by far, with 2 million tons yearly. Liberia. Liberia's cities are the 10th cleanest cities in the world, overtaking giants such as Spain, Japan, or the USA. Sierra Leone. It's home to the famous cotton tree, being the most famous landmark in Freetown, its capital. And you've surely seen it. Guinea. Chimpanzees discovered how to use tools in Guinea. For the first time ever, in 2009, researchers observed that these chimps have started using stone and anvils to cut up some fruits into smaller pieces, and hence they realized that chimpanzees are also smart. Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau is one of the 27 countries that doesn't have a single UNESCO World Heritage Site. Cape Verde. It is home to the world's highest volcano percentage, with about 90% of its islands formed by volcanic eruptions. Gambia. The Gambia is one of the only 2 countries in the world that officially have "the" attached to its name. The other country is the Bahamas. Equatorial Guinea. The country has the world's highest GDP per capita growth rate at 17.57%. This is because it is one of the largest oil producers in Africa, and even with a GDP GDP per capita of $7,500, 70% of its population lives in poverty. Gabon. Approximately 85% of the country's land area is covered in rainforests. This makes it the country with the highest percentage of forest coverage of all countries in Africa. Sao Tome and Principe. It is the smallest Portuguese-speaking country in the world with a total land area of 964 square kilometers. This is the second smallest country in Africa. Democratic Republic of Congo. Kinshasa and Brazzaville, the capital of the neighboring country Republic of the Congo, are the closest capital cities in the world, with the exception of Vatican City and Rome. They're just 1.6 kilometers away from each other. Uganda. Uganda is believed to have been inhabited for at least 50,000 years and possibly as long as 100,000 years. Rwanda. Rwanda is the second fastest country in Africa to do a business in, behind Mauritius, and is 49th globally. Business registration in Rwanda takes under 48 hours. Burundi. Burundi is the poorest country in the world, with a GNI per capita of just $270. Also, just 3% of its population has access to internet. Bruh, that's sad. Tanzania. Located in this country, Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest mountain in Africa, with a height of 5,895 meters. Kenya. Kenya is insane at distance running. They're dominating world championships and Olympic games. They've broken so many records such as the 800, 1000, 3000 and marathon world record. Somalia. Somalia has the longest coastline in mainland Africa as it stretches 3,000 kilometers, being shaped like the number 7. It would have the longest coastline in the entire continent if there wasn't Madagascar, so it's second. Malawi. A fifth of this country is water, even though it's landlocked. It has Lake Malawi, which is the 9th largest lake in the world. Mozambique. Mozambique, alongside Guatemala, are the only countries in the world that have a firearm in its flag. Zimbabwe and Zambia. They're home to one of the world's biggest waterfall, which you've surely heard about, Victoria Falls. It is one of the 7 wonders of the world, having an altitude of 915 meters. In fact, it is double the height of Niagara Falls in Canada, which is much more popular. Angola. Angola is one of the wealthiest countries of Africa. Due to a lot of oil and gas resources and precious diamonds, it's now the 6th richest country in Africa. Namibia. Namibia is home to the world's oldest desert, the Namib Desert, which is said to have existed 55 million years ago. Also, the highest sand dune is located in here, and it's actually called Big Daddy. It has the world's largest population of elephants, estimated at around 130,000 elephants. Eswatini. Eswatini is Africa's last absolute monarchy and is one of the few remaining ones in the world. Lesotho. Lesotho is the only country in the world that is entirely above 1,000 meters in elevation. Its lowest point at 1,400 meters is still higher than the highest point in many other countries. Madagascar. Madagascar is the 4th largest island. This is because it is near the equator and its true size can be visible if we put it in Europe, as you can see here. It is barely bigger than France and falls short of Ukraine. Mauritius. Mauritius has the highest human development index in all of Africa. It has a score of 0.802, which is equal to countries like Serbia or Malaysia. Seychelles. The country has the smallest population of any independent African country with approximately 97,000 people. Also in Seychelles, it is said that there is a buried treasure to be found, and it is said that the island is haunted by ghosts which protect the treasure. That's interesting. Comoros. Comoros is the world's largest producer of ylang ylang, supplying around 80% of the world's ylang ylang flowers. But what is a ylang ylang? Well, it is the essential oil used in perfumery. So if you use a perfume, just thank Comoros. And finally, South Africa. The only country in the world that has 3 capitals: Pretoria, the administrative capital, Cape Town, the legislative, and Bloemfontein, which is the juridical capital. Also, South Africa has 10% of the total bird species on Earth, and approximately 80% of all of Africa's rail infrastructure is found in South Africa alone. And with that, we finally ended the video. Wow, I never did a 20-minute video, but yeah, this is my first video doing this. This video took 2 weeks of work, so if you could subscribe, you know, that would make my day. And yeah, comment and help me with the YouTube algorithm. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.